All right, welcome to the Reese Report. I'm the Mouth of North Andrew Reese, and here we are for our last live football show of the season. Yes, it is Super Bowl time. This is our Super Bowl preview, but as an added bonus, we're going to give you what we selected before the season to see how dumb or smart we were. We'll have a little discussion about that. That's always fun to go back and see what we were picking before the season. Jose's already shaking his head, so this will be fun. Also, today we're going to give you our Super Bowl picks, obviously, with who we think MVP will be. We will discuss what this means for Patrick Mahomes if he three-peats. Does that make him the GOAT? We'll discuss that. We'll discuss prop bets for sure because there's a lot of those, and we want to try to help you guys make some money. Gil Santos is not here right now, so we don't know about heads or tails. So we'll have all of us guess whether it be heads or tails. Tails is 8-2 in the last 10 years, just so you know. Will the refs be a factor in this game? I mean, that's like shooting fish in a barrel, but we'll ask anyway. And then we'll talk briefly about the halftime show. Uh, because Lamar, I want to know what Kendrick Lamar is going to do to Drake. I mean, he's already basically gelded him, so I'm not sure what there's any much more he can do after the Grammys. Uh, Jose, welcome. Tony Barbosa, welcome. These are my usual guests on the show, minus Gil. Great football season, guys. Jose is a now back-to-back-to-back champion. We'll see if Patrick Mahomes can follow in his footsteps and be a three-peater. I know Jose doesn't like that, but he's going to have someone joining him pretty soon. How are you guys doing, and are you ready to talk some
Let's
football for the
go.
last time?
Super Bowl week.
That's
So
it.
go.
It's going to be a lot
So
of fun. We're going to have a party at Lino's house, and I'm looking forward to that. Lino, I hope you're watching the show, or I'll send this to you after so you can check it out. Um, so let's go, boys. Let's have a good one. Just the last one of the season.
let's go.
So let's start with what we picked before the season. Now, guys, give me your reactions, and if you want to jump in, just let me know. So let's start with the AFC East. Um, Jose and Barbosa had the Jets. That didn't really go very well. Gil also had the Jets.
No,
I had the Buffalo Bills. So I guess that was what. Like, can you guys briefly talk about like the Jets and your thinking at the time and how awful they were?
listen. Before the year started, with the team, with the defense that they had, and with a healthy Rodgers, you thought things would pan out better for the Jets. Obviously, that wasn't the case. And I think it became worse than last year. And
Yeah, it
then
was worse than last year.
and when they fired Robert Saleh, it got even worse. So the
Yeah, they did.
defense got even worse, and the offense stayed the same, stayed stagnant. So nothing changed.
Jose,
What happens?
as bad as I thought they would be, I didn't think they'd be this bad. What are your thoughts on what happened to the Jets this year?
Horrible decision making from upper management. Starting with the firing of Salah, starting with letting, I don't know. I guess maybe they're trying to do everything what Aaron Rodgers wanted to for
Yeah,
them to succeed, but at the end of the day, it didn't work out, and that's pretty much it. It didn't work out. That's all it was. I thought maybe, like Barbosa was saying, I thought the new year he would be coming off an injury. Maybe he would put up some good numbers, at least half decent. They could have like they had a good team already. They just needed a good quarterback, but hey, it was disappointing. That's all it was.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Josh Allen had probably the best season of his career. I'm sure a lot of people didn't see that coming with all the weapons he lost, but they basically said, "Take the ball and you do what you want," and it worked out pretty well. We'll see how if that continues. Also, Mr. Cook had a great season, fantasy wise, and for the Bills, which really helped. They're going to need some more consistent offense, though. I think if they're going to continue to play this
Well,
well. So
the Bills need a deep threat. They need a wide receiver.
we'll see. They got some. I mean, they thought Keenan Coleman would be the answer, but he really didn't work out. Amari Cooper was hurt the entire time after his
Mm-mm.
dealings, so And the tight ends, let's face it, the tight ends were disappointments. I mean, Dalton Kincaid dropped a lot of passes, so we'll see what they do going forward to try to beat the monster that is the Chiefs. Let's get to the AFC North. Gil and myself had the Ravens. They snuck it out in the last game of the regular season. Tony and Jose, you had the Bengals. They missed the playoffs. Wow, you guys had a rough start here. Joe Burrow was great, but I'm sure you guys didn't think the defense would be this bad.
No, Jesus Christ, where were they? The top five
They were
worst
in the
defenses
bottom.
in
They
the
were in the
league.
bottom five. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
definitely in the bottom five. Yeah,
So Joe Burrow did all he could, man. He put up MVP numbers. If the Bengals somehow made the playoffs, Joe Burrow would have been the MVP just because of the numbers he put up. Like that was a high-powered offense that they had over there. It's just the defense was terrible, man. That defense is terrible.
yeah.
I
They
feel
have a
sorry for
lot of.
Joe Burrow.
They have Chase with 1 year left. They have Higgins as a free agent, and Hendricks, the leading sacker, is also a free agent. So it could actually get a lot worse for the Bengals if they don't spend some money. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. AFC South, we all got right. We all got the Texans. They pretty much won it by default. They were a disappointing team this year, in my opinion. They had a lot of injuries, but even with all those injuries, when you're in a division with the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Titans, you're going to win no matter what. So good on that. We all had the Chiefs, and they went 15-1. Gil, Jose, and Tony, I believe, had the Chiefs as the number one seed, and I had Texans, so that was bad on my part. I overestimated the Texans this year. I don't know how good they would have been if they weren't injured, but early in the season I wasn't overly impressed with them either. So I think CJ Stroud took a step back, and we'll see how he rebounds.
Yeah,
He
The,
was a
the
bit
NFC,
inconsistent.
even with him taking a step back, they made it to the second round of the playoffs. And
Yeah.
if it
yeah,
wasn't for some costly
dodgy refing.
and against the Chiefs, they were in the game. It's not like they got blown out.
Yeah, yeah, that's for
So
sure.
even they're good for the future. This next year, with all of everybody back healthy, they'll be a contender again. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. Now this one here is interesting because I think when we made these picks, nobody really knew what to expect out of this division. Um, the NFC East. Now,
Whoa, hold on.
Barbosa, yes.
Aye.
Now, yes. Let me give you your credit, Barbosa, before you start celebrating. Yes, Barbosa picked the Eagles. Now, I was shocked that Barbosa picked the Eagles
So
because
did I?
he he's the no, actually, Jose, you picked the Cowboys.
Did I?
Yeah. What happened was you picked the Eagles and changed your mind to the Cowboys, Jose.
I
So
guess
you'll get some credit for thinking about the Eagles, but then
whatever.
you went with the Cowboys. Me and Gil also went with the Cowboys. Now I was shocked, Barbosa, you picked the Eagles because you were the orchestrator of their downfall last year. But
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for this. You made it very clear that the reason they would win the division is Saquon Barkley, and you were absolutely correct because he completely transformed their offense, and their defense became one of the best in the NFL. So I didn't see that defense being number one in the league. Otherwise, I would have picked them too. But
I
this is
listen. I didn't
you
see
know
the defense. I didn't see the defense being this good. I didn't.
no
I
no
thought they were going to be middle of the pack because even last year they were a little bit suspect.
yeah
But just adding Saquon Barkley, they needed a consistent running game. They didn't have a consistent running game,
yeah
and they needed that. And
yeah
and especially with a guy like Saquon Barkley, like you get him a good offensive line. Look, this is what you get, right?
yeah
You almost broke the rushing record. So
yeah. I know. We will talk about Saquon as they are in the Super Bowl with Kansas City
yeah,
later. NFC North, Jose and Tony got the Lions correct. Um, I afterwards I picked the pack and then picked the Lions after, but not during the show because I realized after that the Lions had like 15 games indoors, and then I said, well, they're going to win the conference. But nobody had the Vikings tied with them going into the last week of the season. We
no,
all picked the Lions, the Vikings to finish last. So me and Gil got that wrong with the Packers, and you guys got the Lions right. But my goodness, but I don't. No one saw the Vikings coming with Sam Darnold. That's for sure. And they have a decision to make, and I think they're going to go with JJ McCarthy, but we'll see. Um, this is the one I'm most proud of. Everybody in the NFC South had the Falcons. How did that go for you guys? Trust Kirk Cousins again, eh? And here's the best part. I rewatched the show and I said that he would be benched before the season ended. And you guys laughed. Every one of you laughed. Well, he got benched for Michael Penix, and they lost the division to my Bucks. So, congratulations. Baker Mayfield did outplay Kirk Cousins. Jose, you laughed at me when I said that. So, Bucks, thank you very much. The Falcons, get a quarterback, please. Um, and then we all got the West wrong as we all picked the 49ers to win the division, and the Rams won the division. The 49ers missed the playoffs due to many, many injuries, a lot of turmoil, a lot of problems. And we'll see how they rebound next year. As far as the wild cards go, wow. Barbosa, you had the Bills, Ravens, and Jags. I don't know
And
what
the
you were thinking
Jags?
when you picked the Jags, but that I had to rewind it to make sure you picked the Jags.
Oh, I thought I picked
Yeah,
the Broncos.
no, that was Jose. Jose picked Bills, Ravens, Jags. You picked Ravens, Browns, Broncos. Browns.
Yeah,
Really, Barbosa? The Browns with
yeah.
Watson, 3 and
Just because of that
15.
defense. Listen, just because of that defense. That was the
Yeah.
reason.
You also picked the Cowboys, Pack, and Cardinals to be
Yeah.
the wild card. So there's always a surprise team, but none of us had the Vikings. I had the Dolphins. God, the Bengals out, and the Colts as my wild cards. All of them out of the playoffs. Then I had the Lions, Bears, and Rams. So I did get two of those right. The Bears were an utter disappointment. Um, Gil had the Bengals, Dolphins, and Broncos. Only one out of three there. He also had the Lions, Rams, and Eagles as wild cards. Two of those teams won the division, so he doesn't get credit for those, but they did make the playoffs. MVP picks, we all got them wrong. Gil picked Jordan Love, nowhere close. Jose, you picked Brock Purdy, who had a really bad season. Tony, you picked Joe Burrow. You were the closest. And I had C.J. Stroud, so I was nowhere close either. So
Who? But did they announce it already?
no, they haven't announced the MVP yet. They've announced just about everything else. As expected, Jalen Daniels won Rookie of the Year,
Yeah.
and Saquon Barkley won Offensive Player of the Year.
He
That
won
has been
offensive player of the year.
confirmed.
All right. See.
Yes, which I told you he would.
Yeah.
And the Defensive Player of the Year was a little bit of a surprise in Patrick Surtain from Denver over Myles Garrett, who wants out of Cincinnati. Those are just some of the
Cleveland.
awards.
Cleveland.
Yeah, those are just some of the awards so far. But we'll get into awards later. So those were our picks. We did okay, guys. Some surprises, some picks right on the button. It's really hard to pick before the season started. So not bad, not bad at all. All right, let's get to the Super Bowl, guys. This is going to be this is a rematch of 2 years ago. Uh, I hope it's a good game. The last time these two teams met, it was a wild game that ended with a horrible penalty call. I hope it doesn't end like that again. I think this is going to be a different game as the Chiefs' defense is better, the Eagles' defense is better, and the Eagles have a running back. The last time they played in the Super Bowl, they had Miles Sanders and Braden Boston as their running backs and still managed to keep it close. Um, right now, the Chiefs are a 1 point favorite, so this is as pick 'em a game as you can get.
They moved the line
Um,
half a point.
Yes, it was 1.5 all week, and then it
Yeah.
recently just moved to -1.
Wow.
There is some money clearly going on the Eagles. I think that at the end of the day, there'll be more money on the Chiefs when we
Yeah.
get towards the end of the week because of all the Swifty fans and because there are a lot of people out there that thinks the Chiefs cheat and they'll find a way to win by 2 points. So I think that it will go up. I think the Chiefs will be a 2.5 point favorite by the end, but we shall see. Now, as far as the way this game goes, I'm going to let Jose go first. I have a lot of thoughts on this game. There's a lot to discuss, but Jose, Kansas City versus Philadelphia. Mahomes going for a three-peat, and the Eagles going for their second title. Who's going to get it done, Saquon or Mahomes?
Um, it's tough, man. But
It is tough.
I think Mahomes is gonna get it done. I think the Chiefs will get it done. All year they've found a way to win games. If it's not offensively, the defense will keep them in the game. They got a whole week to prep for this game. Uh, s- the defensive coordinator is one of the best in the league. They don't know if they're gonna blitz, if they're gonna play coverage. Like, did you see at the end with Josh Allen? They threw the whole house at him, and he had to throw an up and hail mary at the
Yeah,
end, which was almost caught. But hey, it is what it is. I just think they'll figure it out. I think they'll stack the box. They'll make Jalen Hurts throw the ball. I don't think they're gonna let Saquon run all over them. They were a top five defense against the rush anyway too this year. So I think it's gonna be a good defensive game this year. I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game like the first time they played each other.
yeah.
I think it's gonna be close, but at the end of the day, Chiefs will figure it out the way to pull out the game, and they'll win this game. So I'm taking I like the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Okay, so I'm going to go and then I'll let you go, Barbosa. The Chiefs have bothered me all season. They bothered me a lot last year too, but I think they were actually worse last year because they lost 5 games. They've won so many close games this year, games that they shouldn't have won, games where the refs helped them, games where they were getting blocked punts and guys going off sides and just fumbles on snaps when they're about to kick field goals. Like it's just insane. Um, Buffalo sort of shot themselves in the foot. They had a chance. Yes, there were a couple of really questionable calls in that game that went against Buffalo that led to Kansas City taking the lead and then having the 3-point lead to end the game. But when you have 3 minutes and 30 seconds and Josh Allen has the football, you have to get it done. I thought the tush push was a really weird call considering that James Cook had destroyed them most of the game and they kept going to it and Kansas City saw it was coming and they failed twice on it, which cost them not only 2 points, which led to the margin of victory, but also the fourth down, which I still think Josh Allen got. Um, it's amazing to me how Kansas City always finds a way. But I've been watching this Philadelphia team all year. They've been so impressive on defense. Saquon has been great all season long. The only problem is that Kansas City's deep run defense is like number 2 in the league. They are going to stack the box and try to stop them. And here's the problem: Jalen Hurts is going to have to throw well to win this game because they're not going to allow Saquon to run all over them. Saquon can still do some damage, but it won't be like the 90-yard bombs that he's going for in these games. I think that they're going to keep him, relatively contained, 4 yards a carry. Jalen Hurts is going to have to make the big throw. And they have two really good corners out there. They don't cover the middle of the field very well, so I think Dallas Goedert's going to have a good game. We'll get into that when we do props. And I believe that Saquon will have to catch the ball out of the backfield a fair amount of times to avoid Kansas City's corners. I'm going to take the Eagles, not because I hate the Chiefs, but I'm going to take the Eagles because of their defense. Every year that I pick the Super Bowl, I always pick the team with the best defense. Barbosa will remember that everyone thought the Broncos were going to beat the Seahawks back in the day. And I looked at him and I said, they're a 2.5-point favorite. I'm telling you, that Seattle defense is going to eat Peyton Manning alive. And they ended up winning the game 43-8, much to everyone's surprise. Barbosa went and retired his jersey to the basement, and we never saw it again. It was so bad. So I think because of the Eagles' defense and the fact that Jalen Hurts finally gave us a game that gave us some confidence that he can throw the football well, that Washington game really helped, although Washington's defense is terrible. At least we could see that he was healthy and could throw the football. He can still run it as well, which could cause problems. I mean, the last time they met in the playoffs, Hurts ran the ball well. He did fumble it, which changed the game. But if they can, I mean, if Saquon and him can combine and keep Kansas City off the field, and then the defense, which the last time Mahomes faced a good defense, they got beat up 30-9 by Tampa Bay. So if that defense can stop Mahomes, I don't think Kansas City's running game is scaring anyone. And so I think the Eagles can win this game with their defense and running game. It's going to be close. I think it will be low scoring. I think it's going to be a battle of coaches and which coach wins. Um, Now, obviously, Andy Reid's the better coach, but for all the arrows that Sirianni gets, he's done a great job this year. Um, so we'll see if Hurts can pull it off. I mean, he gives you a Jimmy Garoppolo feel because they don't use him to throw the ball very often. But this is a game where he's going to have to throw it if they're gonna win. At least make the big throws when he has to, because they're not going to have Saquon going crazy in that game outside of maybe a run here or there. Casey's run defense has not been great in the playoffs. Mixon and Cook ran on them. So I think the Eagles can go to him and they can get away with it for a while, but there's going to come a point when Hurts will have to make the big throw to one of his two big receivers and Dallas Goedert. I'm going to take the Eagles. We'll get into MVP picks after, but I got the Eagles, and my MVP will be Saquon Barkley. I think that he'll have to have a big game if they're going to get the play action, and that's the only way they're going to win is if he has a big game. If they think Jalen Hurts is going to throw the ball 30 times, they're not going to win this game. So, Jose, you made your pick. Who's your MVP pick? Is it Mahomes?
Yeah, it's Mahomes. Hey, one more thing. Sorry, one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, last week, okay, you got to see that Philadelphia Eagles defense got torn apart by Jaden Daniels. Okay, if you watch the game, they've only won the game because of turnovers. Okay,
Yes,
I
that's
know
true.
it's part of the game, whatever it is, what it
No, that's
is.
true.
Okay,
That's true.
because every time that the Washington Commanders didn't turn over the ball, they scored touchdowns down the field
This is true.
every single time, or
Yeah.
field goals. They scored on them on every single time. So
Jaden
I
is
don't.
special, though,
Uh,
Jose.
what's that?
Jaden is special, man.
He is. No, I'm buddy. I've been saying that in the beginning of the season. I told you he was gonna be
Outside of
rookie of the
that,
year. I told everybody that, and even the show, that he was gonna be rookie of the year when everybody's like, Bo Nix, Bo Nix, Bo Nix. Anyways, like I was saying,
yeah.
he was tearing them down the field every single time, and if it wasn't for costly turnovers, I think they might have even won the game. Honestly, they were moving the ball perfectly against those guys. So you know what? I see Andy Reid scheming. They'll have some like runs for Mahomes. Buddy, that wide receiving core. If it gets freaking on a roll with Hopkins, Brown, Worthy, freaking Kelsey, man, those guys are loaded. Yeah, bro, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think the Chiefs. It's meant for the Chiefs to win the three-peat, and it will cement Mahomes as one as not the goat, but he's getting close there. He's getting close there.
Um, I don't disagree with anything you said, Jose. I think that this is a different game because like Daniels is just. I mean, the entire NFL had problems stopping him the last like 3 months of the season. So and the Eagle, he got to see the Eagles three times a division game, so it's a little bit of a different game. I think the Eagles front four can get to Mahomes. The KC offensive line has not been great this year. If they can, then that will help their secondary. It's going to be interesting if they decide to stop Kelsey. I would try to stop Kelsey and let the other guys like Worthy and Old Man Hopkins over there and Hollywood Brown. I'd let those guys try to catch the ball and stop Kelsey at this point because the decision by Buffalo and Houston to let Kelsey cook did not work out too well. So we'll see. I don't blame you. Kansas City's an easy pick in this. They're only a point and a half point favorite. I think if any Eagles team is going to do it, this is the one because that defense is good. That you're right about the Washington game though. The turnovers, but again, the Eagles defense caused the turnovers. So we'll see. We'll see. Barbosa, who do you got, and what are your thoughts on this matchup? That I mean, to me, the Eagles have the better roster, That doesn't mean a damn thing, but they do have the better roster.
Yeah, they have the better roster, but there's the other guy on the other side. He's done it before.
1 second, Barbosa news update: Josh Allen has won the MVP, which is fully
Ooh,
well,
he ended up winning it. Okay.
yeah, well deserved. I thought he would win it. Go ahead,
Ah,
Barbosa.
okay. Um, uh, it's listen. If it's a close game,
The Chiefs are going to win.
the
Yeah,
Chiefs
I
are
don't
going to win it.
I don't disagree with
The,
you.
the
Yeah,
Chiefs are winning it. In order for Philly to win this game, they have to score, and they have to score in the beginning. They have
early.
to go up
Yes.
huge.
Yeah. If
Um,
KC gets up early in this game, they're probably going to win the game. I'm going to say
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Um, I think KC will have a little bit more trick plays up their sleeve this time around. And if you notice, Mahomes during the regular season doesn't run,
No.
doesn't run. In the playoffs, if you noticed, yeah, that's when he does his running. So
Yeah.
watch out for Mahomes and his legs. I think that's what that could be the difference. And like you said, uh, and if they do, if I was if I was KC, I would stack the box. Obviously, you don't want because if Saquon Barkley goes off, I don't see. If Saquon Barkley has a huge game, I don't see the Chiefs winning it. Um, but I can see I can see the KC using Xavier Worthy a lot in the run. I can see him running the ball quite a bit, just doing like trick plays and him doing it. I think Kelsey can have a big game because just the way Mahomes will be playing. Um,
If I'm the Eagles, I'm doubling Kelsey. I'm not letting Kelsey.
uh, you got
I'm
to
not.
worry about the whiteouts too. You got to
Yeah,
worry
but
about their
I would
whiteouts.
I would rather take my chances with those guys than letting Kelsey go crazy and then propose to Taylor Swift at the end of the game when he wins. I'm not letting Travis Kelsey beat me.
Listen, in saying all this, I I want the Eagles to win. I do want the Eagles to win, but that other team is they've been there. They know how to win. Um,
Yeah,
Mahomes has been in the playoffs every year. At worst, AFC Championship games. He hasn't lost in the first, second round of the playoffs. So
actually, if I got this right, he's been in the AFC Championship game every year of his career.
yeah, he's been at least in the AFC Championship in every year
Like I'm a big
since he
Brady
started.
fan, but this guy Mahomes is damn remarkable. Like if he gets a three-peat, that gives him what, four Super Bowls or five?
Yeah,
I
four
think
Super
four, right?
Bowls.
So if he
Four
if he gets
and
to five,
5 years? Is it 4 and 5 or 4 and 6?
4 and 6. I
Four
mean,
and six.
I don't think he necessarily has to get to seven, but if he gets to five with a three-peat, man,
Listen, I'll tell you
like,
this. I'll tell you this. If he wins this Super Bowl, if he wins the Super Bowl, and say they get to the Super Bowl next year and wins the Super Bowl next year, that's four in a row. He's the greatest. Sorry.
yeah. I wanted to ask Jose, how similar is this Eagles team to last year's 49ers team, if at all?
I don't think they're similar just because um team last year, dude. It's different offensive schemes. The Niners used more McCaffrey as a pass catching running back
Yeah,
and stuff like that, and the Eagles are more of they have a way better offensive line than the Niners.
Yes, they
That's
do.
hands
Yes,
down.
100%.
Um, and they use more Barkley for the rushing up and down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, Defensively, I just think maybe the Niners got more pressure to the quarterbacks last year than the Eagles do. but no, they're the defense probably the same. The only thing I think is
Mm,
better than is just the offensive line. I think the offensive line is better than the Niners was last year. Besides
Yeah,
everything else, I think it's pretty much even, man. They have a good defensive line. Their secondary is not that great. Neither was the Niners secondary last year either.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it's pretty much it. I think the only differences were just the one was a rookie quarterback basically,
yeah,
and freaking Jalen Hurts already been in the league for and he's been already in the Super Bowl, and
yeah,
it's just the offensive line. That's pretty much what I think the only the difference of the two teams are, man.
no, I
yeah.
think the Niners linebacking core was a little bit better than the Eagles.
Yeah, the front four was it was pretty even. Yeah, how can you compare linebackers? You had Greenlaw and Warner. They're two of the
Yeah,
best linebackers in all of football. So
yeah,
yeah,
I think up the middle, they're a bit better than the Eagles.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, but it's gonna be a good game. Like I said, is Mahomes using his legs, man? In the playoffs, that guy makes plays.
Jose, how do the Chiefs win it? Do they win it with a field goal? Do they win it with rushing the ball early? Does Mahomes win the game? How do they win the game?
I think it would be a lot of slants, a lot of freaking passing, like quick passes, and get it to their speedy wide receivers. Um,
Or
they'll start. They'll see how the rush goes. I don't think they're gonna be able to rush the ball very well against that defense, interior defense. Their offensive line is that's probably the weakness on their team too.
right? Would you blitz
So
Mahomes? Because I would.
you know what? I wouldn't blitz him. I wouldn't blitz. Well, this depends how the game is going. If you go up, if you go up a touchdown, yeah, then I would start blitzing him and putting a lot of pressure on him, hundred
Yeah,
percent. But
yeah,
if they start losing the game, it's gonna be hard to start putting a lot of pressure on him because what about if he runs out of the pressure and he's gonna be, or if he catches
That
some wide receiver open or whatever, dude, it's hard to talk. It's hard to see like. It all depends on the schemes, and all
mhm,
depends on how the offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators play out the game. I just think KC is going to be doing quick passes and getting it out to their speedy wide receivers. I think
yeah,
that's what you're gonna because I don't think if Philly's a good secondary and they can exploit that with the speed and the good wide receiver, especially Hopkins. You know what? I think is gonna have a good game, man. I think DeAndre Hopkins is gonna have a good game. Last week was even Schuster. He
yeah,
had a couple big catches too for them. So it's hard to explain. But like I said, if he go down the field and score first, that'll put a lot of pressure on the KC, and if KC can't establish a run game or anything, then they're gonna be in trouble
yeah,
because then they're gonna get blitzed from left and right, and their offensive line is already garbage as it is, and then
yeah.
with that pressure from Jalen Carter and those linebackers are good too, man. Vaughn is good this year. He was very impressive. Yeah, man. It's just they can't lose. They start losing the game. They gotta be up, or else they're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, I would agree with you guys. If it's close, they're gonna the KC wins because right now what we haven't talked about is the kicker. Jake Elliott's struggling. Like
Oh yeah,
he cannot kick a football right now, and they got Butker who is pretty consistent. Like if this comes down to a field goal, KC's going to win the game. I think the Eagles have to go for it. Now Sirianni's not shy, but they're going to have to go for it on fourth downs if they're going to win this game. I think that kind of balls is going to have to take place if they're going to beat this team. I don't think field goals are beating the Chiefs. We saw this last year with the 49ers. Don't kick field goals against the Chiefs. You're going to lose. So that will have to happen as well. Now that we've discussed that, let's get to the props, which is the most fun part of the Super Bowl for all of us. So I guess I'll start off and say Dallas Goddard, who I mentioned earlier. KC allowed the most receiving yards to tight ends this season, and that's because they have two cornerbacks who like to cover the wide receivers. They're going to be all over Devontae Smith and Hall and Brown, and so that's going to lead to a lot of open passing up the middle. I expect both Saquon Barkley and Dallas Goedert to be over their totals receiving yards because they're going to be throwing out of the backfield a lot, and I think they're going to be throwing in the middle of the field to Goddard. Even his backup tight end might go over. I think that's how much they're going to be throwing in the middle of the field. Both Hurts and Mahomes to go over their rushing attempts. Both are going to be running the football. Kneel downs also count as rushing attempts, so I expect both of them to go over their 5.5 totals. I think even both will go over their rushing yards. I think they're going to be running out of the pocket a lot. Um, Anytime TD for both Mahomes and Hurts. I think that's a lock for both of them. Um, and I think a 2 point conversion will happen as well. That's like plus 350. So have a look at that. I'm going to say tails for the coin toss. Um, and one other thing I was going to do. As far as the game total, I think it'll be an under. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. Um, I would boost the Eagles' points up to 3.5 if you really want to guarantee yourself a win. I think this will be a 3 point game. And as I said, MVP Saquon Barkley. I can't think of anything else right now, but if I do, I'll let you guys know. Kelsey, I think the Eagles are going to double him, so I expect his total to be lower than expected, but I probably wouldn't bet that. Jose, what do you got for props? Because we all bet a lot of props for the Super Bowl. It makes it a lot of fun.
I'm gonna go with heads. I think,
Gonna go with that?
yeah, I think this year it's gonna be a heads.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna go with Mahomes, a passing and a rushing touchdown.
Ah, okay.
I think he'll get one of each, and
Yeah.
so will Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna go with Kareem Hunt as anytime touchdown.
Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm gonna go with a touchback on the first and the kickoff. Um,
What's the odds? You know what the odds are on the touchback's got to be pretty high, no?
yeah, it's like probably like a minus like two something, like
Right.
a minus two something.
Right. Okay.
Um, I'll go with uh, I'll go with James Worthy. Um,
Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy over his receptions. I think he's gonna get a lot of receptions.
I think you go over the rushing yards too. I think they're going to run him on a sweep.
Yeah, yeah. And in my surprise pick, since I think they're gonna double team. I think Noah Grant or Noah Fant is gonna have a
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a crazy game. He's gonna be a little sleeper there. So that's
Yeah.
for right now. And opening song is gonna be "Humble" by Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl.
We know what the
And
last song's going to be. We know what the
yeah,
last song's going to be.
and uh, and um, and the anthem's gonna go. Who's singing the anthem, bro? Do you
Oh, that's
know?
a great question. I
I
don't
don't
even.
know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
I'll go over. I'll go over the
Over
number
the
of time.
anthem. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, over on the anthem.
Over under 5 flags for the Eagles.
Oh, over for sure.
we
Over
haven't
for
talked
sure.
about we
And
haven't talked about the refs yet.
listen, and watch the holdings that these Chiefs guys are
Yeah.
gonna have, like compared to last year. Oh my
Yeah.
God! Every single play, Nick Bosa getting choked out, getting, oh
Yeah.
my God, bro! I can't even replay these, especially that last drive. There was
Yes.
seven, like at least 3 or 4 holding penalties on Nick Bosa. It's like
Yeah.
blatant, like the guy's getting choked out,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, I don't know.
Embarrassing. Yeah. The Chiefs are gonna get the benefit of a call at some point, and people are gonna go absolutely ape shit online, and we're
Even
gonna.
dude, even that interception but it's an incomplete pass, and
Yeah.
they called
It hit the
it
ground.
a for like a catch. dude, how the ball, like, first the guy intercepts the ball. Okay, then even if they like wrestle it, then you see the ball legit like hit the ground. I don't even know. Listen, if I was the NFL, the ball hits the ground, it's incomplete. I don't give a
Yeah,
shit if you have possession, if you don't have possession. If that ball hits the ground, it's incomplete. Just change the
yeah,
rule, make it simple like that, so then we don't have any problems, any controversies, or anything like that. If ball hits the
absolutely.
ground, it's incomplete. Done.
Yeah, yeah. It's
It's
ridiculous.
stupid. Like it's dumb. Like I don't know why. We don't even know what a catch is anymore in the NFL. Like honestly,
No,
like
we don't.
I don't know.
Barbosa, give me some prop picks, and will the refs be a factor in this game?
Um, um, I got Isaiah Pacheco over receive what is it called? Receptions. Yeah, one and a half.
Who's starting? Does anyone know who's starting at running back?
Doesn't matter.
Is
I
it
think
Hunt or
Pacheco.
Pacheco, or are they using
I think
both? Like,
I
They
think
use both.
Pacheco.
They use both. But
Yeah,
when
but
yeah,
it
they
comes
use
down
both.
to
But coming out of
when
the
it,
backfield,
Hunt's
uh,
going to get the ball in the red zone though.
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Hunt's getting the ball in the red zone.
yeah.
Yeah, no, but I said
Yeah,
receptions. He's gonna
reception.
get
Okay, okay.
receptions. Pacheco's one and a half. Get the over. Um, uh,
Did you pick your MVP, Barbosa? Who's your MVP?
I'll get to that
Okay,
because
okay.
I'll get to that. Xavier Worthy's longest reception. I think it's at is it 19 and a half? I like the
19
over.
and
Yeah,
a half.
19 and a half. I like the
Yeah.
over. Um, and there's where's the other? I like this other one. I think the first team to score in the defensive end. I like KC.
Saquon first TD scores plus 350. I do like that one. Hurts is plus 600, which also is a good
Yeah,
play as a first TD. Yeah.
and I'm gonna go with tails and Xavier Worthy as Super Bowl MVP.
Xavier Worthy. Wow, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? I was thinking about doing a safety this year. Quarterbacks running around and they I don't know.
No,
I always think about that safety. Ever since the
I
Denver
don't
game,
know.
I remember Barbosa when they first played, they threw it in the back of the end zone. The Denver game. I always think that's gonna happen again sometime. Um, yeah, safety's like plus 1200 or something. It's
no.
always
It's hard.
interesting.
It's hard, man.
It
Not in the.
safeties. Yeah, I know.
Um,
Wasn't there one last year?
was there? No, there wasn't a safety last year.
No.
No. Jalen Hurts anytime TD is minus 115. I think that's a pretty safe wager because if they get to the one, they're going to push. So Jalen Hurts anytime TD looks like a
Yeah.
solid bet. There's so much stuff, guys. Like it's just like when you go through it, and you're putting little 20s and 25s.
Yeah,
It's
you
just so much
can,
fun.
man. There's too
So
many
much fun.
props.
Yeah, it's just it's insane. I know Jose is going to have like 100 when I see him. It's going to be fun to look at.
You already see him smiling.
like Jose's gonna show me it's gonna be this list, like Jericho's list. It's just gonna be
The list of Jericho.
since it's just the three of us. I know this is a Super Bowl show, but since it's just the three of us, I will ask this: thoughts on Jay Uso winning the Rumble? Might as well bring it up now. Shocking?
Surprised.
Yeah, I
Very
was shocked too.
surprised. Did not see that coming.
No, no.
You know what? I'm not like I was surprised, but I'm not because they've been booking him and pushing him hard. I don't know what
Yeah,
Triple H sees in him, but
the crowd,
they've been
the crowd
yeah. It's I
reaction.
think it's the crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is another good like Kofi Kingston type of
It's
thing.
Kofi Mania.
Daniel
It's
Bryan.
exactly,
Yeah,
and he's gonna win against Gunther or whatever his name is
Gunther.
yeah.
at the WrestleMania, and they'll figure a way of putting John Cena against Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
Elimination Chamber.
He'll win the elimination chamber, and he'll probably end up winning or
and
he'll figure out a way to get to the main event at the WrestleMania, man.
and CM Punk will get on one of the days. CM Punk will face Seth and Roman Reigns in one of the main events, and he'll get his WrestleMania. So
No, I don't
that'll
think
be
that's
great.
gonna be the main event.
I think Roman and Seth, for after what he did to him, I think that's gonna be the Mania
It's
match.
going to be a triple threat. It's
No, it's a triple threat.
a
They're
hundred
gonna
percent
cost
going to be a
each other.
triple threat. Yeah.
They're all gonna qualify for the chamber, and they're all gonna cost each other again in the chamber, and that's how you're gonna set it up.
Cena's going to win the chamber. I don't think there's any question. He's going to win the
Yeah,
chamber.
Cena is winning it
That's in
because they're
Toronto, by the
hyping up.
way.
They're
Yeah.
hyping up his appearance large in for the chamber here in Toronto. They're
Yeah.
hyping it up, and I just yeah, it's
It'd be fun to go watch it, but the tickets, I imagine, are just unbelievably priced. So
Well, not
yeah.
really, because it's at the Rogers Center, so there's more people at the Rogers Center than it is like at the
Yeah, but
Scotia.
WWE now, their tickets now are getting stupid expensive.
yeah, I mean, they're back in more ways than one with the popularity. So yeah, Jey Uso, like I was surprised, but I was actually happy that they surprised us. It's like
A
I didn't
hundred
want
percent.
I didn't want an like I didn't want Cena to win it. So when he pushed him out, I was like, oh, that's nice, that's cool. Um, but then that made the elimination chamber obvious that Cena's going to win. So there's pros and cons to that. I like Gunter as champion, so I'm not 100% sure Jay's going to beat him, but it looks like that's the way they're going because Jay loses every main event he's in, and they can't make him lose at Mania. Otherwise,
Yeah, exactly. Then what
why
was
did
the
you
whole
make him
point of
win the
him
Rumble? Yeah,
winning the
exactly.
Rumble?
Um, the women's battle royal was a massive disappointment. Charlotte Flair out 2 years comes back and wins. It's just ridiculous.
It's
It's
stupid. It's so
unrealistic and
stupid.
ridiculous. Yeah, if I'm another woman in that locker, like I'm not surprised. She came out on Raw. I don't know if you guys saw it, and she got immediately booed. And I'm not surprised. You bring her back and you make her win the Rumble after 2 years off. That you don't even give her any sort of like building her up. Oh, my knee, I couldn't do it because my knee hurt. They don't give her any storyline. Just make her win. Of course, everyone's gonna boo her because she just towers over everybody. Like
That
it's
guys,
ridiculous.
man, even this is just to make Tiffany Stratton even bigger. She'll beat Charlotte at WrestleMania.
No, she won't. It's
No,
gonna
no,
be
no.
Nia Jax, and her at WrestleMania,
Who?
and it'll
Rhea
be
Ripley?
it's gonna be Rhea Ripley and
Tiffany
Charlotte
Stratton,
Flair three.
buddy.
No,
Yeah,
Tiffany
Ripley and
Stratton.
Charlotte. It's gonna be Ripley and
Ripley and
Charlotte.
Charlotte three, man.
Yeah, I'm
That's what it is,
telling you
bro.
guys, it's not. It's gonna be Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte. Watch.
No,
I doubt
I'm,
it.
I
Doubt it.
doubt it. Dude,
Okay.
she has to have a feud with Nia Jax. She took her
Yeah.
belt and she has to have a feud with her. They're not gonna just okay, Charlotte Flair. What the hell is she even doing on NXT? Like, oh, I'm gonna go see the NXT champion. Just who you're gonna pick. You're gonna pick Rhea Ripley.
Of course.
That's the best matchup for everybody,
Yeah.
and that's the big matchup for her. Like, why would she
And
go
think
against?
about it, Barbosa. There's nobody else. Who else is Rhea Ripley gonna face? There's nobody else.
Watch. Wait until the chamber. Because the
I
women's have a chamber.
I don't think there's anyone else that Rhea could face that we can realistically believe she'll lose to other than Charlotte.
It's
And that's
not a,
why.
that woman's not in the roster right now.
Well, I don't know if a woman who's off the roster can main event WrestleMania or be in one of the big matches right away. But I mean, uh, we'll see.
Becky
You know,
Lynch.
I I don't think Becky's coming back just for
I don't
Mania.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't.
If she was supposed to come back, she would have came back at the
Mm,
Rumble.
True. Alexa
mm,
Bliss, on the other hand, she could be a factor. That's someone I'd watch out for to win a chamber or
mm,
surprise people because she
mm,
got a massive pop. Of all the pops in the Rumble, she got the biggest one
Yeah,
mm.
100% of the women's.
easily.
Yeah,
So if she's that big coming out and she's got, the like she could easily be someone that sneaks in there and becomes like part, especially if it's against Tiffany Stratton or something like that. That would she would scare the hell out of her. That would be fun to watch. But we
You,
shall
you
see.
know, you know, was my favorite. You know, was my favorite person to watch at the Royal Rumble this year.
Who's that?
Braun Breaker.
Well, he destroyed that internet guy. That was fun to watch. I'll tell you that.
yeah, that was
That
funny.
was great.
That
He
was funny.
destroyed that guy, man. Like he must have told him hit me as hard as you can because he just absolutely
But
annihilated
he
that
got
guy.
speared,
Oh my
and
god.
how he speared Roman Reigns too. The way they made it
Oh
seem.
man.
But did you see when they're like they came face to face? How the fans just went crazy
Yeah. That.
with
Yeah.
Braun Breaker with Roman Reigns, Braun Breaker with Jacob Fatu. Even when Jacob Fatu and him were like in the middle of the ring, the place fucking went crazy.
Yeah, they better be careful with Jacob Fatu because he's getting cheered now. Like he's getting too cool to be a bad guy right now with the stuff that he does. So they got to
That
watch
he's
out for
too
that.
good, man.
Yeah, man. And he's talking now too. His interviews are good too. So like
Yeah,
they got some they got something with Jacob Fatu. They definitely have something there. But I mean, wrestling is fun again to watch, guys. Let me tell you, that Cody Rhodes Owens match was amazing too.
Bro,
That was a
that
great
was
match.
crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
that
Bro,
was
those
That
guys.
insane.
that the
Oh,
match, guys, that match will not compare to what Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are gonna do at WrestleMania. I'm telling
well,
you right now, if
we'll
you
see.
guys if you guys watch their I don't know whatever matches they had in Ring of Honor when they had weapons, oh my god.
Yeah, but
Watch just
that's happens if it's like a hardcore match or something. If
it's
it's
Yeah.
like
gonna
a
be like a
regular
lot
match,
table. They're gonna do like a I don't know, maybe a anything goes or a tables, ladders, and chairs match. But believe you me, that's gonna be the matchup at WrestleMania, and watch that match
It's going to be a great WrestleMania with a lot of
because
good
they set
matches.
it up on Monday Night Raw at the end
mm,
Yeah,
of Raw. They set it. They pretty much set it up.
that Alabama Slammer, that was like the bump that Owens took off
Oh
that move
yeah,
oh yeah,
was so great. Like he's folded.
did you get cut off or what?
There.
mm,
Sorry, I was muted, guys.
oh,
Yeah, Kevin Owens is an amazing performer.
he is.
I just I
He
want.
doesn't get the
Yeah,
credit though, man.
He's
But
no, he
underrated.
doesn't.
even
Yeah.
dude, even Cody Rhodes took that bump off the ladder too. When
Yeah,
he freaking buddy, that's bro, that's okay. It's not steel chair ladders, but dude, that shit must hurt, man. Like it's not.
yeah,
Dude, it's
yeah.
not that thing's not. It's not the freaking feathers over there, man. That shit
No.
must like. Fool, those guys are crazy, man. I don't know, man.
Like Kevin
Sometimes,
Owens is the workhorse of the wrestling world right now. That guy needs. I feel like that guy needs to have a title. Like he's so good. It's like they should give him the legacy award. A title just for being too damn good. Like he's just amazing.
He will be champion. Triple H
I don't
likes him
know,
too
man.
much.
It just
Triple H
it depends.
Triple H
Like
likes Triple H likes him too much.
yeah, I mean,
bro. But now
I
the way with all these guys, now it's gonna be hard for him to win.
yeah,
The world, like the
yeah,
world champion. Like
yeah.
maybe you can give him.
He might be the
It,
one after I wouldn't say this year, but next year. I want he'll be the one to take the title off Jey Uso.
I
mm,
don't know if Uso has a long title run because Cena's if Cena beats Cody,
No.
um,
Cena will lose the belt at SummerSlam to whoever the
No.
hell
Unless
who
unless
he's
Cody
facing.
unless Cody snaps at WrestleMania and turns heel, because a lot of people have been talking about Cody Rhodes turning heel.
you know what's an awesome story? If they have Owens beat Cena, which would remind us of what happened when he came from NXT and beat Cena, that would be a great ending of the title run. To have Owens beat Cena, I think that makes a lot of sense.
That's
But
true too.
we'll,
But
you know,
then you have to like, where's CM Punk gonna be in all this? Where's Roman Reigns
well,
gonna be all this? Like, where's
I,
gonna be, like, you know what I mean? Like,
so
there's a lot of
yeah,
guys.
Roman Reigns, I think that you'll be out of the title picture the rest of the year. I don't think Roman
yeah.
will be in the title picture
No, it's
the
not
whole
that
year.
the way they set up Punk is they're trying to figure out what person's name he says and what will stick. And he mentioned Gunter like a bunch of times, and I thought that's the direction they were going, but then they went to Jey Uso, so it's like I thought for sure it'd be Gunter and CM Punk at Mania, and then they
A-
just switched it. So
And there's still that favor that they're playing that favor a lot.
that's the other
Just
thing.
on
Like
TV.
is it a guarantee Jey Uso keeps his title shot until WrestleMania, I think there's a chance that he puts it on the line against somebody, even whether it be Punk or somebody else. I don't think it's a guarantee.
Mm,
I don't think it's a guarantee he's the main event with Gunter at Mania. I don't think that's a guarantee.
mm,
Is it
I
a
don't know.
2 nights or a one night type of
Two
show?
It's 2 nights.
nights.
It's 2 nights.
Yeah, so they'll have him one night main event, and then
Yeah.
it'll
And then
be
Cody Rhodes,
whoever
John Cena is the
Cena.
second night.
Yeah,
It's usually how
Cena.
it
Yeah,
goes.
for sure.
Like I don't think Gunter Jey Uso is a main event match. I don't think it is.
You
I
have.
think Roman,
You have
Seth,
to, man.
and Punk is more main event than that match.
I get
That'll probably
for
be the
sure.
opening match. That'll probably be like the opening match. You know, there's always like a crazy opening match
Yeah, yeah.
to get a start. I'll
I
bet you
can't
that
see
would be
that happening either, man. I can't see those guys opening
See,
WrestleMania.
the problem is they can't have
last
Punk.
year.
They can't have Punk use the favor to beat Jey Uso because then he'll get booed. So they can't do that.
Dude, you had 1 year Roman Reigns as the champion against Brock Lesnar opening up WrestleMania.
I know, I know.
Was
But
it?
So,
that favor, like there's something going on with that favor. Like Jey Uso's a family member of Roman Reigns, right? So it's like
Yeah.
there's something gonna happen with that favor that cost Jey Uso this match. I just have a feeling like he's gonna use that favor to
I don't
get
know,
into the main
man.
event somehow. Yeah,
I don't
he's gonna
know.
be in. I think it's either Punk's gonna be in the Roman match with Seth, or he's gonna use the favor to be in the main event with Jey Uso and Gunter. One of those two things is gonna happen.
yeah, probably.
But and if Punk really wants to be in the main event, I think that favor is going to get him in. But we'll see. There's so many good storylines. It's good to have unpredictable wrestling back again with a lot of guys over at the same time, so that's it's more exciting when you watch it. Plus, when it's on Netflix, you can skip all the commercials, which is great. I hate the 3 hour SmackDown, but the 2 hour Raw is great. So, um, yeah, that's a little wrestling for the wrestling fans out there. We had to get it in there since we're live. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you know, I think the game will be good. At least I hope it'll be good. We'll all be partying
Oh,
and
it's gonna
hopefully,
be it's gonna be
I
good,
think it'll be
man.
a good game. It won't be a blowout or anything like that. I think it'll be
No, it'll be a close game. It'll be a
very
close game.
strategic game. Yeah, we'll be talking about it, and it'll be fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much our show. I know Barbosa's gone, but that's pretty much our show. We're almost at an hour now. I'd like to thank Jose Barbosa and Gil Santos for all year for coming on the show to do football. We are not going to be away all summer. We will do shows here and there discussing other sports. We got the Champions League coming up, which we can talk about, which is now into the knockouts phase. We can talk about WWE. Obviously, the Elimination Chamber is coming to Toronto, so we'll talk about that. WrestleMania is coming up. There's a lot of events coming up that we can talk about. That's not football. The NBA trade deadline just happened. The Raptors made a very confusing move trading for Brandon Ingram, which still has me shaking my head to this day. Uh, I will have a
Same.
show eventually with Jose about that because it just doesn't make any sense at all. I don't
Like, are you
eh,
tanking or are you gonna try to win?
it
What the
doesn't
hell?
make sense.
And then you got to still resign him, but you don't even know if this guy's gonna resign. Like, so you wasted all these players and the draft picks on a guy that you don't even know if you're gonna resign or not. If you
Yeah,
made the
it's
make the
it's
trade,
stupid.
if you would make the trade and resign him right away, you know what I mean? Like a 1 year or 2 year deal, I would understand that. Now you're
Yeah,
getting a player that you don't even have under contract for next year.
What are you talking about?
yeah. The
The
Raptors
Raptors,
making the ridiculous
Brandon
trade for Brandon
Ingram.
Ingram. Yeah,
No. From what I heard from what's his name, Haynes. The hell's that?
Haynes,
Huh?
Haynes, Haynes.
Haynes, Chris
Yeah,
Haynes.
yeah.
Yeah, he said
What?
more than likely he is going to resign. He is going to sign with the Raptors.
Yeah, because he can get a
Yeah,
max deal. But
but
dude,
again,
why are
does
you
that
gonna
make
pay a guy?
sense? No.
Why are
Right.
you gonna
Huh?
pay? That's not the guy that the Raptors need, dude. You don't need a guy like that. First of all, he's injury prone. He hasn't played a whole season ever in his career. Okay, he's a
Yeah,
good scorer, but he's a like a Lamar. He's a DeMar DeRozan type of player. He's an
yeah,
inside scorer. Like you
yeah.
don't, dude. You need a superstar player. You already have Scotty Barnes. You have Quickly.
The
You have
problem
RJ
is
Barrett.
there's
You have
there's nobody right
what?
now that who the Raptors can get that's like superstar. That's
But
the problem.
they could have gone after Jimmy Butler if you wanted to get a
Jimmy
superstar player.
Butler wasn't going to come here,
He's
man. Let's
no,
be
he's
Doesn't
too
honest.
matter.
old.
I'm just saying,
He's
if
too
you
old.
could, there's guys out there, man. Like, look, fucking
Jimmy
Luka
Butler wasn't
Doncic
going to
got
come
traded.
here.
Are you buddy? If I was the Raptors, if I knew that Luka Doncic is on the block, buddy, I would give my whole team. You want Scotty
Yeah,
Barnes? You want this guy? You want that guy? Here, take
yeah.
everybody.
But
Take
nobody
everybody.
nobody knew Jose. That was like an
Yeah,
under the table
I
deal.
understand that, but dude, like,
Man, it was
but
all to create buzz. It was all to create buzz for the
no, it's
NBA because
not,
they were
dude. You
losing.
know what? You know what this is? You know what this is? This is all about money. Okay,
Of course,
it's all about money. He's going to the most famous franchise in the NBA right now.
100%.
LeBron James is there. He's going to teach him the ropes, and when LeBron James retires, this guy's going to take over the NBA. It's simple as that. And this is all about making the freaking owners money and the NBA money. That's all it was, dude. I don't know in which rich mind buddy. If I'm Mark Cuban, that guy's
Mark
fired.
Cuban can't do nothing. Mark Cuban's a
No,
minority owner. He's done.
Doesn't matter.
correct.
Whoever's the owner of the team, I don't give a shit. Buddy, if I'm him, I would fire him right on the spot.
The
Eh,
owner, okay, listen, Jose, the owner didn't want to pay him. The what half part of the reason is they didn't want to give him the 300 and something million.
Correct.
Dude, are you
That's
and
for
you're gonna pay a 30 something year old guy almost the same amount of money that's remaining on his contract. Okay, in Anthony
Yeah, Davis is at
Davis.
60 million. Yeah,
For like the next 3 to 4
three
years, right?
years, I think. 3 years,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
3 years.
that's
3 years.
bro, that's almost that's $180 million right there, and you're gonna pay that guy that, and you're not gonna pay your franchise that guy that took you to the finals, bro. Come on,
Listen,
if buddy,
listen.
if
eh,
my phone went ding ling ling and I was the president, and this Luka Doncic just got traded. First of all, I would call the GM, buddy, you're fired. Don't even come show up to work tomorrow because I'll legit freaking kill you. And then I would call the NBA and Silver and tell them, listen, my GM must have been drunk last night, and no speak English. The guy don't speak English. Cancel the
Well,
trade.
the
Cancel this trade.
what is basically what's happened is they thought he was Lino. They're like, look, his attitude sucks and he's out of shape. So we're not gonna pay him. We're gonna trade him. That's what happened.
listen, Reese, out of shape or not, the guy
I
took you
know it's crazy.
3 years
I
ago
know
or 2 years ago, whatever it was. He
it's
took you to
nuts.
the AFC, to the Western Conference Championship
They went to the final
by
last year.
himself, by himself.
Yeah,
Or 3 years ago, was 3 years ago. He took him to the Western Conference by himself,
they had Brunson, but yeah,
but Brunson wasn't the player he is now. And he took him to the finals last year with Kyrie, and he took him to the by himself.
well, I
And you
think Dallas is more of a team last year than just the Doncic show. But I hear you.
You know what? But like the trade is not bad. Like
I'll tell you this:
if you
this
see it,
guy, this guy in
if
the
you
fourth quarter when the game is on the line, I want that guy shooting the ball. LeBron,
Hey, so
LeBron finally has somebody now that he can say in the fourth quarter, that's the guy.
yeah, but
Because in the
defensively,
fourth quarter, LeBron,
we'll see.
nah.
Yeah. So
bro,
the
but
other thing is that he doesn't play any defense, and so the GM was basically like,
Hold on,
I think
hold
defense can
on.
win championships. I
Pat
want
McAfee
Anthony
show.
Davis.
Watch the Pat McAfee show. Tuesdays version or Monday's version of the Pat
He
McAfee
comes
show.
on a lot. He comes on a lot.
comes on every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had the stats of Luka Doncic when he was playing one on one against playing defense against players
Yeah.
in the final. And I don't know if it was the conference finals or the NBA finals.
Right.
The players that he was guarding, the primary defender, were shooting 32%, 34%, and 30 something percent.
Okay, Barbosa. I'm just going to tell you right now. Those numbers mean absolutely nothing. I've watched him play.
Listen,
He's a terrible defender. There's no defending him. He's a terrible defender. He's very lazy getting back. He's not a good defender. But that's not That's nor here or there. He does a lot offensively, so you're not going to expect him to be a monster on the defensive end, but you expect some effort on the defensive end. He really doesn't
I
give it
get
on a
it. Well,
consistent
playing with
basis.
LeBron, trust me. Now playing with LeBron, he has no choice.
Well, LeBron doesn't play any defense either. He's 40 years old.
But
So,
that's because he's 40 years old.
right.
But he's
So that's the
but he's
problem.
gonna tell him on team defense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's gonna tell him, hey, buddy, you gotta hustle back.
We will definitely do a basketball show in the future about the trade deadline and the Raptors and other stuff. But I just want to briefly get into that. But that's our show. As I said, I'd like to thank the guys for coming on this season. We will do future shows. As I said, Champions League, wrestling, NBA, and we will do an NHL show when Gil's back on. I want to talk about his Devils. We're going to talk about the Leafs and their inconsistency, which drives everyone nuts, I'm sure. They just got Stolarz back tonight. What will they be in the playoffs? Will they be any different than they are in the playoffs? Will they struggle to score? We'll talk about that. My Penguins aren't worth talking about because they got the Leafs GM and have become one of the worst teams in hockey. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Penguins. Sign Dubas, the worst GM in hockey, and see what happens. So we'll talk about that in the future. But for now, I'm the mouth of North Andrew Reese. That's Tony Barbosa and Jose Carlos Gomes. We'll see you next time on the Reese Report. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Have fun, guys, and make a few bucks. All right. Take care. All right, boys.